You gotta respect him in these last minute moments here, man. Damn, bro. Yeah, I mean that happens in real life too. Wars really boost up the economy a lot.
何が言いたいんだよ。本心だ。さらけ出しまい。
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're going to be getting into Shippuden episodes 80 and 81. Y'all, it's been a day, and I am breaking my schedule because I have to see what happens with this. Rewatched those episodes with the girlfriend last night, and boy, are we very concerned about Asuma. I mean, y'all heard or saw my reaction last episode, or saw, listened to my review section, and there's such a big part of me that's like, he can't die now, like it would just be really surprising. But then after rewatching it last night too, I was like, shit, like they've been foreshadowing this. I don't know how like Asuma who could be alive after this. Just the feeling and the tone of it, like I don't know, y'all. I'm really worried about Asuma, especially after just getting to know his character like so much more than we had in like classic Naruto. We were starting to get so much more of his character, and he's been cool. So I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm real nervous. But we'll see. We'll see here. Let's go and recap the character ratings from last time, though. We gave MVP to Shikamaru against, his analysis and his ability against the Akatsuki here. He, I don't know, just once again, him being, that strategist, the rook, right? Or not the rook, the knight, wrong piece. But yeah, he's just, enjoyable to watch. And I like seeing Shadow Soin too. Cool new ability that has a little bit more offensive power. And then for the best moment, funniest moment, and Sako, little triple threat here, we gave it to Hidan, man. He killed it last episode. Voice acting, absolutely incredible. I loved the voice acting. And it just made his character feel so like unhinged or like demonic almost, and he almost looks demonic with like this, like when his ritual forms from full form here. So that was kind of around the best moment. The funniest was when he does get his head chopped off, and he's like, sucking up to Kakuza about reattaching. He's like, oh please, Kakuza, oh. And he like calls him like friend or something like that. I forgot exactly the word he used, but it was pretty funny. And then we also gave him Sako because he's being a sadistic piece of shit, and he might have just killed off Asuma here, so I don't know. That's a tough character rating to give to one person. He that just shows how dynamic his character is, I guess. But yeah, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's see what's about to happen with Asuma. Pray for me. If y'all do enjoy his reactions, help me out, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate y'all being here to watch, and yeah, let's go and get into this. Oh, don't you be showing me a bunch of graves. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll do this soundtrack too. I love this imagery of like Shikamaru trying to run close to him. He's getting further and further away. That might be a little spoiler here. Last words, shit. Don't do anything reckless, man. It seems like they're giving you a hard time, man. Ooh. Squad is here. Thank God, man.
助けに来たわよ。
いいの鹿丸を安全な場所に。
はい。
油断するな、長司。うん。増援か。
Oh, it's this guy, goggle guy.
大丈夫か。ああ、それよりアスマ隊長、アスマ先生。
Oh, jeez. Oh, he's alive
ま
still.
だかすかに脈がある。長司、すぐにアスマ先生をコノハ病院へ。いいの。お前は同行して医療忍術で少しでも回復させるんだ。急げ。
Yeah, I was about to say she's got medical ninjutsu, so maybe they can. Well, unless this guy's got something to say about it.
俺たちが食い止める。その隙にアスマさんを運べ。
Got some good old-fashioned taijutsu, baby.
お前らは神に捧げられる家だ。だから、もう少し待ってくんねえかな。これからがいいとこなんだ。本当。
Dude, what is this? This area looks crazy.
今すぐ飛べ最優先
だから言ってんだろ。もう少しだけだってよ。
被弾やめろ。
誰かと通信してるのか。
またすぐに戻る。覚悟。
We'll be right back. Just hang tight. Damn, dude, this whatever city or village this is in is wild. It's like super advanced, but almost like apocalyptic looking a little too. Who's this? Have we seen this Katsuki member yet?
行くぞ被弾。
あのクソリーダー、今度呪ってやろうかったくや。
Oh, it's the leader. We hadn't gotten a name for him yet, I don't think.
アスマ先生。いいの。
Or seen him in person. We saw him in like that
行くぞ、早く。
virtual form.
てめえら、俺らが戻ってくるまでじっとしてろ。そいつはもう死ぬからよ。じゃあね、クソ野郎ども。
Hidan is gonna get Sacco. Fuck this guy now.
早くそう。
私は
I love him and hate him at the same time. Jesus, no.
ここまでだ。それぐらいは自分でわかる。お前たちもわかってるはずだ。うるせえ。あんた黙ってろ。いいの。
Dude. This sucks, man. All three of them are there with him too. Good and sad, but
こことここも9章4箇所も。 これじゃ
good voice acting.
三代目のしたこと今になってやっとわかった気がする。俺はいつも遅すぎる。最後にいの長司、しかもお前たちに言っておきたいことがある。先生、もう喋っちゃダメだよ。長司、いいの。
You gotta respect him in his last moments here, man.
アスマ先生の最後の言葉だ。しっかり聞け。
Oh, man.
いいの。
はい。
お前は気が強いが面倒見のいい子だ。長司も鹿丸もこいつら不器用だからな。
はい。
それから桜には負けんなよ。
Of course not.
忍術も恋。
Or romance.
長司、お前は仲間思いの優しい男だ。だからこそ誰よりも強い忍びになる。自分にも 少しダイエットしないと。
God damn it.
いいかもしれないけど頑張ってみる。そして
Tomorrow.
しかもお前は頭が切れるし、忍びとしてのセンスもいい。ほかげにもなれる器だ。まあ
Damn.
めんどくさがり屋のお前はわかるだろうが、将棋お前に一度も
Wow. Not once.
そういう玉のあの話。この葉の忍びを駒に例えるなら、しかも差し詰めお前は桂馬だな。
じゃあ先生は
俺は何でもない。ただの
犠牲駒ってか？
なら玉は誰だかわかるか？
あ、おかげだろ？
俺もこの間まではそう思ってたけど、そうじゃなかった。
じゃあ誰なんすか？
お前も時が来りゃわかるさ。
But tell us. I need to know now.
あれが誰だか教えてやる。耳風。
Of course, we're not gonna hear it. God damn.
ハスマ、あんただから
頼んだぞ、しかもる。けどもういいよな。やめてたタバコも俺のポチに入ってる。最後の一服。
Yeah, give him one last smoke at least, dude. Maybe give him some morphine while you're at it.
悪い悪い。今日から第10班の担当になるサルトビアスマだ。萎縮するから覚悟しろよ。いきなり泣くなや。まだ厳しい。
煙が目にしみんだよ。
ライスおかわり。それからカルビ4人前追加。へいお待ち。うほほ。
長司君、君は遠慮。
Definitely not.
全量は言ったな。
Bro, this is how I eat out when I'm out at Korean barbecue or Japanese barbecue.
お前のことを心配しているんだぞ。そんなに食べるとこのままじゃ。
Oh.
そいつは禁句だぜ。
They've done a good job of balancing
話かまる。
the somberness with some good comedic relief here.
セットも頼んでいいってよ。
本当にアスマ先生。ごっつぁんです。お兄さん、デラックスセット2人前ライス大盛りでお願い。
Chucks his ball.
食った食った。
はい、
おう。
誰に？
あ、いや別に誰でも。
くれない？
I'm very interested in the conversation he was going to have with Kakashi when he was interrupted by Kiranai. Yeah, I feel bad for Kiranai too, man.
将棋めんどくせえな。
いろんな駒の個性を生かすことで様々な局面を作り出すことができる。お前のように作戦を考えるのが得意なやつにはうってつけのゲームだよ。ルールはだいたいこの本を読めばわかる。あとはやりながらだな。負けた。
手抜かなくていいっすよ。マジで。
今回の試験で中任になれたのはお前だけだ。担当上人として俺も鼻が高いぞ。あとは猪と長司。お前たちも頑張れよ。よく頑張ったな、長司。猪、前回合格した鹿丸と合わせてこれで晴れて第10班は全員中任だ。
At least he got to see all of his,
俺もお前
you know, subordinates become Chunins and really be successful.
長になり新たなチームを率いることになる。このピアスは俺からの中任祝いのプレゼントだ。俺たちが第10班のチームだったことを忘れないようにな。
Damn, bro. I feel like we were just freaking getting to know him well, too.
忍びらしい最後だった。
feel like this is gonna hit Shikamaru the hardest, man.
嫌いだな。煙が目に染みやがる。
Damn, it's so sad, man. Oh, tough one, y'all. Real tough. Feel like I was like in denial last episode and was really hoping. Damn. All right, let's go next. Man, all this feels so trivial now. So much more important things going on. I mean, this is important too, of course, but
すれば性質変化が怪しくなると言って性質変化に集中すれば螺旋岩がうまくいかね
comes the storm.
え情けね
四代目火影を超える忍びはお前しかないと俺はそう信じてるからだ。
えカカイ先生があそこまで言ってくれたってのに俺は全然それに応えちゃいね
Bro, give yourself time.
一旦中止にしますか。あいつがそう言うならな。
俺は
Yeah, I was literally just thinking of this scene. The rain falling down on the headband. Kicks him back into high gear.
えってばよ多重影分身の術
Man, I love the Shadow Clone. You still bringing those things, Soccer? What the fuck? Hopefully a new and improved recipe. I'm just trying to picture what this is gonna look like eventually.
みんな気をつけろまたキュービ化してるやつがいるってばよ
Damn, bro.
ヤマト大将ヘルプ
Fucking feral. Man, he would be cooked without Yamato.
大丈夫か。螺旋岩に風の性質変化を加える修行に入って丸1日。影分身は200人程度。一人での修行時間として換算すると4000。
Wow. Yeah, put in perspective.
けどこの修行だからコントロールがむずすぎて影分身は200人が限界だってばよなんか永久にできねえ気がするそもそも螺旋岩を作るのにすげえ集中力がいいのにその上性質変化なんてんなの無茶だ
いつになく弱音吐くね。お前らしくない。それでもお前は俺の知ってる渦巻きになるとか。
Oh.
風邪ひきますよ。どうですナルトは。
螺旋岩に性質変化を加えるのは想像以上に難しいことみたい。もともとナルトは器用じゃないし。
だから体で覚える修行方法をカカシ先生が。
そうナルトにしかできない修行。2人に分身すれば修行の成果は2倍、100人なら100倍。でも性質変化を術に組み込むには努力や根性だけじゃどうにもならない壁がある。
Yeah, there's some level of technique for that.
4代目火影様が編み出したっていうほどの術、その術に性質変化を加えるなんてナルトには無理なのかも。
そうだね。ただし不器用でガサツなナルトにタクラの性質変化を螺旋岩に組み込むだなんて繊細なことができるはずないんだよ、そもそも。それなのに明石先生も大和隊長もずーっと付き合っちゃって、里では暁対策の正体が編成されたっていうのに戦力の無駄遣いとしか。全くセンスのないナルトにおかげさまは何を期待して。
Interesting. What's he trying to get out of her?
以上言ったらあんたも殴るわよ。あんたにナルトの何がわかるっていうのよ。そう確かにナルトは大バカよ。不器用でドジでおたんこなすだわ。でも意外性は人一倍。これまで何度もそんなナルトに助けられてきた。
Yeah, so why are you down him, Sakura?
思ってることを覆す。それが渦巻きナルトなの。チームメイトなら覚えておきなさい。何をヘラヘラして殴るわよ。
それは勘弁ですよ。
Can't logic, man.
本の知識もたまには役に立つものですね。
っての気持ちを気持ちの裏返し。 はいあなた
さくらがナルトを信じているのは分かっているよ。そのさくらをナルトは決して裏切らない。
いやはめたわね
Yeah, get wrecked, soccer.
あのまずい泥団子を食べ続けて修行ナルトもね。
泥団子って何よ。効き目を優先しただけなんだから。なんだ人の本性を見抜く前に
Yeah, he's running.
大丈夫。ナルトはやり遂げる
Oh
さ。
man, that umbrella is so clutch.
頑張れ
You would think it would wash off the ink though.
今回ばかりは無理だってばよ。
それでもやらなきゃな。
だったらカカシ先生は右見てる時に同時に左を見ろって言われてできんのかよ。
確かにそりゃ無理だ。
なるほど、そういうことか。ならできないこともない。影分身の術。右を見ながら左を見るってのはこういうことだろう。
Split it with your shadow clones.
そうか。
何か分かったの？
影分身の術。
Kakashi help him without even realizing it.
リビの封印のためにわざわざ呼び戻したのかよ。
So bad about that.
覚悟しておけ。3日かよ。長えな、こっちは雨だ。お前の言うな。この葉の奴らもう少しで皆殺しにできたんだぜ。神論者どもに邪神教の存在を知らしめてやるところだったのによ。この葉は無神論者ではない。先代を神とし火の意志を子孫そんなものは戦うための大義名分だとも言えるがな。あ？てめえ、それ俺をバカ。
Oh, hold on, man.
いや、お前の戦う理由を別段バカにしたつもりはない。俺も同じ穴の無地なだから。戦争の理由なんてのは何でもいい。宗教、思想、資源、土地、怨恨、恋愛、気まぐれ。どんなくだらない理由でも戦争するだけの理由になってしまう。戦争は
It's an interesting way to think.
理由は後付けでいい。本能が戦いを求める。誰もてめえの長ったらしい話は聞いてねえんだよ。俺には俺のやり方ってもんがある。俺自身の目的もある。全てを組織に委ねるつもりはねえからな。暁という組織に属している以上、その目的にも協力して。
Yeah, it sounds like you're picking a bad fight here.
達成されれば、お前の目的もすぐに成就するだろう。あれこれカッコつけたところで、暁の目的はただの金集めになってるじゃねえか。革靴と同じだよ。戦う理由の中で一番嫌いなタイプだぜ。そうだ。
Like for resources.
目的は金だが、本来暁の目的は別のところにある。その目的のために莫大な金がかかるんだ。
World runs on money, man. Oh, wait, what? Toby joined before him?
俺のいねえところでクソこそと拗ねてるのか。ならそろそろ教えてやろう。暁の最終目的は段階を踏むことで達成できる。それは全部で3段階。まず第1が金だ。そして第2段階がその金を元手に忍び世界初の戦争請負組織。
War contract?
おいおい、俺じゃ他の忍び里のやってることと同じじゃねえか。依頼をこなして報酬を得る。
Okay, so trying to make a big payout from it.
国もね、小さな里の長にでもなりてえのか。くだらねえ。国お抱えの里、まるで違う。順を追って説明してやる。強力な忍び里を持つ国にとって忍びビジネスはその国の収益において大きな役割を担っている。忍び里は国内外の戦いに参入することで莫大な金を稼ぎ、国の経済を支えていると言っている。つまり国が安定した利益を得るにはそれなりの戦争が必要。
Yeah, I mean, that happens in real life too. Wars really
小さな戦い
boost up the economy a lot.
かつてのような大戦はなくなった。国は里を縮小し、多くの忍びが行き場を失った。忍びは戦うために存在する。国のために命がけで働いた見返りがこのありさま。忍び五大国はまだいい。国も里も大きく、信頼もある。他国からの依頼も多く、安定しているが。
Yeah.
ただ国はそうもいかない。
Smaller lands probably feel like it's unfair, I bet.
この保有には戦時と同じかそれに近いレベルで平時にも莫大なコストがかかる。だからといって里を縮小しすぎれば突然の開戦に対応できない。だから我々暁が作るのだ。国というものに属せず必要な時に必要なだけの忍びを用意し、必要な力を持ってあらゆる小国や小さな里から金で戦争を依頼で請け負う組織。最初ははした金であらゆる戦争を一手に引き受け、
Man.
市場を牛耳り、
That's interesting.
市場の大きさに合わせて戦争を引き起こし、やがて
Yeah, I mean, with all the tails, they'll be really strong.
コントロールし、
A monopoly on all wars.
それに伴い大国の忍び里というシステムも崩壊、暁を利用せざるを得なくなる。そしてその先にある本当の目的に我々はたどり着く。
What's the true goal?
目的の第三段階。
世界を
Ooh.
征服する。
Gain a lot of power and then use that power to take over the world. And the leader looks pretty cool. I want to see like a full profile of him though.
そうか。
紅さんには
お前たちは関係者に葬儀の連絡をしろ。紅には私から。
いや俺が伝えます。
That's mature of him.
伝言もあるので。
Okay, so he also has something to pass on. The sound?
やったおお
Yo, that shit looks wild. Oh, so he's got 3 now.
なるほどね。お前の思いつきってそういうことだ。そもそも螺旋岩でさえチャクラ放出係と兵隊変化の係の2人組でやってたからな。お前
そう3人目の俺でもって風の性質変化をやる係を作ればよかったんだってばよ。一人で左右を同時に見ることができねえ右を見るやつと左を見るやつ、その2人に分身して役割分担をすりゃいいだけの話だったんだ。
さっきの俺の影分身がヒントになったってわけね。とは言ってもそれはチャクラと影分身のあるナルトだからこその方法。
Mm-hmm. He's a special kid, man.
4代目であっても不可能なやり方だ。たくこいつはさすがは意外性ナンバーワンの忍者。
Number 1 unpredictable ninja.
俺はお前のことがものすっごく好きになってきたぞ。
いきなりキモいこと言うなってばよ。
いやそういう意味じゃなくてね。
わあ近寄るな
てかその
What the hell's going on?
何やってんだかあの二人は。
連絡です。
ちょっと待てよ。
なんだろう。
高橋先輩、一旦修行を中止して里の方へ。
一体何？
Nothing good, man.
サルトビアスマさんが亡くなりました。
Y'all, those episodes sucked. Not actually sucked, just hard watch, man. Hard watch. You know, y'all have warned me a lot about this show going to be taking away people that I enjoy. No one is safe, it seems. But it's funny because, you know, when I thought about, or when I was trying to figure out whether I actually believed Asuma was going to die or not, big reason why I kind of thought he was going to live was because in like classic Naruto, there wasn't like a ton of people who actually died. I mean, who actually died? I mean, there were some people, the Hokage, of course. You know, it wasn't just like in these like little, or I don't want to say little, but more regular kind of conflicts. Like this fight with the Akatsuki seemed like kind of just the beginning fight of this arc. And I wasn't really expecting Asuma to go in this fashion. So definitely caught me off guard. You know, I was saying earlier that I felt like I went through the stages of grief all of a sudden, you know, trying to rationalize and not believe it, reject it, all that. But man, yeah, tough watch, y'all. Tough watch. All right, y'all. So I was told that I should probably pair episode 82 in with these two. So lucky for y'all, the patrons helped you out, and we're gonna go ahead and react to episode 82 as well. So editor, put a whole little asterisk next to the intro. We don't want to confuse anybody, but yeah, let's go ahead and do episode 82 as well. Oh no. Wow, I love the gray it all's. Oh. Damn, that scene went hard, dude. I love the imagery of it. Never great to see a funeral, but the leaf village does go hard and black. I remember that for third Okage, and look how hard it's going now. Look at all of them. They look fly. Oh, dude, poor Konohama. He's losing all his family.
おばちゃん言ってたのに。
Yeah, man, I love how like almost how drawn out all the colors are. Like they're so much more gray or neutral colors. Usually it's so much brighter in the show.
ああ、鹿丸。
まあどうも。
最近ご無沙汰やね。忙しい？
まあ
アスマ先生や長司君。
Oh, dude.
そうや。先生にはたまったツケも返してもらわんとな。
アスマは殉職しました。
Oh, dude.
じゃあ昨日死んだって言ってた。
Oh. And that shows how loved he was. All the people of the village, not even just the shinobi, you know, like.
鹿丸、そろそろ夕食を。
いや、食欲ねえんだ。
鹿丸、少し付き合い。
Yeah, needs something to distract him a little bit.
今日はやけに雑だな。それじゃ勝てんぞ。
うるせえよ。
I like the wallpaper, I like the painting behind them.
奴ら強いか。ああ、で、どうするんだ。アスマほどの男がかなわないなら、お前など歯が立たんか。
That's not very encouraging.
だな。まあ、正気は弱かったが。それでいいのか。
人の打ち筋にケチつけんね。
違う。お前はどうしたいんだ。ま、みすみすしに行くほどバカじゃないか。親としてもありがたいしな。
Such an interestingly directed scene.
お前はよくやってるよ。親としても鼻が高いぞ。頭も切れるし才能もある。木の葉の将来を担える器だ。だが、アスマは死んだ。
何が言いたいんだよ。
本心だ。
気色悪いんだよ。あんたがそんなベラベラ喋んの。どうせ俺は役立たずの臆病者だよ。
You're not a coward.
なんだよ。
さらけ出しまい。
Yeah.
悲しみも恐れも憤りも何もかも腹ん中全部吐き出しまい。そしてそれからだ。
Some wise words, man. Man, I love the you could feel Shikamaru's frustration, anger, sass, all that in the way he was playing and putting the pieces down, man.
骨拾ってやるぞ。
I love that. Beautifully written, man. He's got a good dad. I wish I knew what all these pieces were. Oh, he's locking in. He's gonna come up with a strategy to beat, hit on and, yeah. Damn, goosebumps. Did he go all night? Hmm.
チャンス。
しかまる
Yeah, dude, everyone's so empathetic for him.
なんて言っていいのかもうそりゃ悲しい
鹿丸長寿に用なんだろあいつなら裏山にいるぞ
Hmm. Has he been like destroying things? There's a bunch of holes everywhere. Or he's just very hungry, he's starving himself. Aww. Choji has crashed out officially. He doesn't have Asuma to get him any barbecue anymore.
預かってきたぜ。
でいつやるんだろ僕何すればいいまさか僕は
なら早速一仕事頼めるかな。
Are like all three of them gonna try to like not get revenge, but yeah, take steps to try to. I mean, I guess it's revenge. That's what I'm about to describe as revenge.
るのね。
Do what?
ありがとな。
God, I love the art style of this whole episode, man. It's so good. I wish they made like every episode like this. This is insane. And just this perspective in general, so cool. Hook him up even in the grave, man.
顔出すのも遅れてすまねえ。もう迷うのやめたよ。すんげえ無茶なことしようとしてるかもしんねえけど見守っていてくれよな。
He will, man. Oh, he was very loved.
アスマ先生
アスマ先生。
Man, is he gonna go after them, dude?
準備できた？
行くよ鹿丸
ああ。
I feel like Shikamaru is like one of like the last people you wanna have a vendetta against you. You can just plan everything out 10 steps ahead of you, 1,000 steps ahead of you.
俺らは新しく班を編成してこれから任務に向かいます。
なってな行動は許さん鹿丸お前はこちらで再編成した小隊に組み込むそしてしっかりとしたプランを立ててから行かせる
後で増援を送ってくれればいいっすよ。俺らの連携ですでに作戦も立ててありますから。
いい加減にしろアスマは死んだ今のお前らは3人きりだ
アスマは俺たちと共にいる。
弔い合戦でもするつもりかお前らしくもない犬死にしたいのか
俺たちだってバカじゃないっすよ。死にに行くつもりなんて毛頭ないっすから。
ただなんだ
このまま逃げて筋を通さねえまま生きていくようなそういうめんどくせえ生き方したくねえんすよ。
成長しろ忍びには死がついて回る時には受け入れがたい死もある
Yeah, she knows real well, man.
それを乗り越えなければ未来はない
She knows that real well, too.
この形見のライターこれ持ってっとアスマ先生が近くにいるような俺らを守ってくれてるようなそんな感じがするんすよ。この戦いのけじめがつくまではこのライターとも一緒だ。
現実を見ろお前らは3人しかいない正体はフォーマンセル
4
が
人いればいいんですよね。
かかし先生。
第10班には俺が隊長として同行し
Dang, dude.
どうですかね。
かかしお前
I've been thinking a lot about Kakashi, man. Like, if this had happened to him, you know, like this is the equivalent. Even though I haven't gotten to know Asuma as well, you know, thinking about Kakashi, oh man, it just scares me.
分かった
高橋先生ナルトはいいんすか。
Ooh.
その右手。
なに俺はもうあいつにとっちゃ用済みだ。
Hoo-hoo-hoo!
隊長もついてるしな。
Yamato?
ナルトのやつ。
それじゃアスマ班行きますか。
感謝するぜ高橋先生。
Ugh, man. I want to watch that shogi the Shogi scene over and over again, man. That was incredibly well directed. Like, oh my gosh, the intensity in that scene is so palpable. It's insane. Yeah, dude, this whole episode is directed so damn well. I love the art design with all the colors kind of muted out. Just like makes you feel so much differently than normally when everything's so saturated and like kind of carefree or happy-go-lucky, like kind of like what we know like Naruto to be like, for example, like action Naruto, not just the show, but like Naruto and the vibe of the Leaf Village. I love that, man. I just want them to direct like every episode with that much care. That was so freaking good. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and move on with the review section here. I think there's only one place to start, and that's with episode 82. Man, what an episode. What comes to mind first is just the pure masterclass of production here with this episode. Absolute cinema. Really is. Probably, not only the best produced episode of Naruto in my mind, and including classic Naruto, but even one of the best ones I've seen in anime in general. I really love all the little subtle details in this. Props to every single person who worked on this episode. You can feel in every single emotion they put into trying to capture how Shikamaru and the rest of the village feels after losing Asuma. I really thought they did such a good job of depicting what grief is like. I think the most obvious part of these episode is the change in the colors, right? The way that they drew the characters, the way that they the level of saturation they had. All the colors were really muted, almost grayscale to a degree, right? And I feel like that is such a good way to kind of show what deep sadness and loss is like, or depression. The world just isn't quite as bright. Like, literally, I mean, if you've talked to anybody who has struggled with depression or is going through a stage of deep sadness, loss, grief, etc., I know those are all little different things, but kind of capturing that deeply negative emotion there, painful emotion, that people describe life being more gray. It is really a thing. So I thought they did an amazing job of that. I love how the beginning of this episode into, well, pretty much the majority of the episode, there's no music going on, no soundtrack. It is all raw to, Shikamaru's surroundings, especially. The opening scene with Kurenai, and you can feel the intensity of him having to break that news to her. Him being in the village and hearing, kids laughing or playing, the bugs and insects, it sounds like kind of like crickets and stuff, or what's their face, locusts. It just feels like so much more realistic to like Shikamaru being like really isolated with this pain and loss that he's experiencing, and kind of just going through the world as like it's just an individual who's experiencing this, versus like just that what we're used to in anime with and stories in general, with like upbeat music playing and taking it as motivation, taking it on the chin and keep on going kind of thing. Especially in shonen anime, that happens a lot. But yeah, like it almost feels like the sounds are like create a feeling of like emptiness almost. There's also like those subtle details where like Shikamaru's on the roof while everyone's at the funeral, and he like sees kids playing, and like their mother scolds them a little bit, and he thinks it's funny. He laughs. And, he almost experiences a little bit of joy for a brief second, and then you quickly see it fade away into a frown. Kind of showing how this sadness he's experienced, this grief he's experienced, kind of overburdens any positive emotion he could have. We also see in him when he's at home and time is just passing him by. You know, time just passes you by when you're in this kind of state. He's in that same spot all day and into the evening. He's not hungry, he's not eating. Man, I'm like getting emotional just thinking about it, man. Like it's they did such a great job of depicting it, really. And you know, kind of moving on to the shogi scene, because man, if there's the strongest point in this episode, or kind of what encapsulates the feeling of this episode the most, it's that scene. It's the same thing, right? Like there's no music going on. You just hear the dialogue between the characters and these shogi pieces being put down. And I love how like real it feels, right? Because like I can imagine this scenario in real life with you know, when something tragic has happened like this and people are kind of just like talking to talk, right, to distract. And that kind of sounds like what Shikamaru's father is doing. You know, he's kind of talking about the way he's playing in the game, being a little forceful, you know, talking about the Akatsuki, talking about Asuma, you know, just talking about all sorts of random things. Not random, but like it doesn't feel like he's being super direct, or like he's kind of like beating around the bush to a degree, but in a way that is kind of trying to force some emotion out of Shikamaru, like mentioning Asuma's name, mentioning the Akatsuki, mentioning that he doesn't want his son to die. You're not stupid enough to die. You could be the Hokage, etc., etc. And during this whole time, you can hear the pieces being put down harder and harder and harder by Shikamaru. You can hear some of the sighs and exasperation from his voice actor. Yeah, man, that amazing. Of course, it compounds and grows into an outburst of rage and anger from Shikamaru, and from his, you know, feeling almost criticized from his dad. You know, you can tell Shikamaru is internalizing some blame here for Asuma's death, and you know, maybe a level of like hesitation or weakness. But that's not what it's about, obviously. Shikamaru's father is helping him not internalize this pain. I think that's like a really hard thing with grief is you have to be able to let it all out, as Shikamaru's father says. You know, I think a lot of times like life is so chaotic and difficult that like we don't really get that moment to really let out your emotion. And oftentimes emotion can be chastised in life too, you know, because so many people repress it over time and it comes out in unhealthy ways. But you know, you really do got to let it all out. And you know, that's exactly what his father says just let it all out, all your sadness, fears, and anger, and everything else. I love like that everything else part, because like you almost can't describe the level of emotion that you feel with grief. Man, just so good. And then how he says, and it all starts from there. So that's just the beginning, you know, letting it all out. But that lets you start to heal, to take steps to learn from it and grow from whatever you're experiencing. And then of course the hardest line there, I'll pick up your pieces. Man, what a father. What a yeah, that's what Shikamaru needed, right? And obviously it's such a good play on words and for what's going on in the episode with them playing shogi. But obviously he literally means that he'll support his brokenness is how he has broken, and he will support and pick him up here. And just him starting this and breaking him into pieces, letting all the emotion out, is the first step to get there. I also want to shout out like just the voice acting in general. Thought it was amazing. Shikamaru breaking down, great voice acting, and that paired with the facial animations. I've been noticing that the past few episodes in general, not just in these, but the facial animations have been really good. Like I've seen it with Tsunade a lot. They do such a good job of like it's like a more realistic form of animating someone's face. It feels a lot more like it's more fluid, or you see kind of the transitions from emotions or facial expressions, and you see that a lot with Shikamaru and his father here too. Like all the anger and sadness in his eyes. Yeah, just really, really well done, man. This is like hard to talk about, y'all. You know, I was able to. I felt like tears coming during the episode, but I like for some reason I like, you know, as y'all can tell, this is like the next morning I'm recording this, and you know, I couldn't like let that emotion out. It was almost like it was bottled up from myself too. And I rewatched the episode like right afterwards with Bethany, my girlfriend, and you know, she was bawling. She was really sad. She's like, "This is making me emotional." But yeah, I think another like really important part of these episodes is kind of talking about legacy and almost like the will of the fire kind of thing, right? Like that we've been getting in Naruto with like kind of trusting in the future generation, believing in them, putting your faith in them. You know, I really like how the Akatsuki describe the Leaf Village as, you know, not atheists. They believe that their predecessors are gods, and we get that a lot with Shikamaru and Asuma's lighter. You know, he feels like Asuma is with him, and he feels like you know, Asuma said this to him, and his father said to him that he could be the Hokage, right? He could be the next person to lead the village, to provide for the village, to protect the village, and they all believe in him, despite his laziness or his, you know, his hesitation with a lot of things, you know. And you can tell that Shikamaru is going to learn from this, and you know, he says he's like, I'm not going to hesitate anymore, and he uses all this emotion that's been let out to plan a strategy, and you can tell he's taking on the will of Asuma and just his predecessors in general. And I think that's like a really beautiful thing. It reminds me a lot of One Piece. One Piece has a lot of those themes as well. Attack on Titan had a few of those moments. And I think it is, you know, such a crucial part of being a human is like, obviously, you know, we're hardwired to reproduce and whatnot, but it's also like we pass down our legacy to our kids and the future generations, and that's kind of how you live on through there. You know, everybody's going to die someday, but how you impact the world around you, and especially your family, is like the most tangible way that you can actually impact the world, in my opinion. You know, I mentioned Attack on Titan. You know, one of the episodes, like this episode 82 really reminds me of, there's gonna be a spoiler warning if y'all haven't seen Attack on Titan. Definitely click off of this, because this is one of the best episodes of Attack on Titan. But in season 3, Midnight Sun, where they're choosing between Eren and Erwin to who they're going to revive, and that whole episode is like no music either. It's just the raw voice acting and emotion, and this episode 82 really reminded me of that, but very different at the same time, right? Like that was like emotionally charged and explosive. This was like repression and grief, and honestly, I think this one was even better produced, which is crazy because Attack on Titan is like my favorite show of all time. Maybe One Piece is kind of there. Those are like my top 2, but this one, man, has to be up there with one of the best episodes I've ever seen of any show. You know, I mean, I know I've seen a lot of good episodes. Like Game of Thrones has some insanely good episodes. There's been others as well, but I don't know, I just love the way they depicted everything. I thought they did an excellent job. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other like lore stuff we got, especially around the Akatsuki. Most interesting, I almost say most interesting. I guess the most lore we get in these episodes is around the Akatsuki and their mission. You know, they break it down into, or like, you know, and we actually get to see the leader too, right? Not his full profile or anything like that, but we see his eyes, and very unique eyes. The city he's in, oh my gosh, looks crazy compared to the rest of the universe we've seen in Naruto so far. You know, that city dystopian feel almost, right? Like it looks so much more advanced than other lands we've seen, but it almost looks like dystopian, right? Like, I don't know, there's like chains hanging around and all this stuff. It just looks like it's not necessarily a good place to be. Maybe it is, I don't know, but yeah, I really like the design of that. The design of the leaders seemed pretty interesting, and of course we get a lot of dialogue about what their actual goals are, and you know, earning money right now, but ultimately their goal is to almost become like an organization of mercenaries, get a monopoly on war. And they describe a lot about how important the shinobi villages are for income and the economy of lands. And right now, the Great Five nations that are very large, they have like a good balance between the size of their shinobi villages and be able to support the cost of that, and it brings in enough money and economy both inside and out of their land to keep, you know, it running smoothly. But it's not the same for small shinobi villages. After the Great Wars, you know, the costs all stay the same, but their profits all decreased, and so they almost like are incentivized to shrink their shinobi villages, but then they're at risk if war ever breaks out. And so it seems like the Akatsuki are going to be, you know, kind of targeting that market of, you know, smaller lands to, you know, basically sell their services to be mercenaries and more. And in that way, they can kind of grow their power and control. And ultimately, they want to disrupt this whole shinobi village system as a whole, especially with the Great Five villages. And, you know, the other element of this is like, it's not just that they want to make money, but they also want control, right? Like they're going to, you know, once they get a little bit more of a monopoly, they'll use the tail beast that they're extracting to, you know, actually start and incite more war. So, you know, this episode is definitely very foreboding for the future. It seems to be foreshadowing that there's going to be a lot of war upcoming in Shippuden, and probably a lot of war that is going to happen for bad reasons, right? Like not even like, I mean, most war is probably happens for unnecessary reasons, but in this case it's, you know, like manipulating and conniving. I really like this scene where the leader kind of talks about how the reasons for war don't matter. War is always like necessary, and he's talking about like, he's like money, philosophy, religion, love, revenge, and it's like flashing to each Akatsuki member. For example, like when it said religion, Hidan was there, money, Kakuza, there were some other ones too, but I'm curious on if all of those reasons kind of align to each Akatsuki member. And you know, ultimately though, their goal after getting all of this money and getting control is to really gain control over the world. So they'll be an organization that has complete control, and breaking down the current system. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into the character ratings. Honestly, a hard one because I wanted to give one of these to Asuma because like MVP or best moment, just because like as a shout out. I didn't give it to him last set of episodes because I wasn't sure that he died, and I would love to give him one, but I honestly can't give him MVP or best moment in these set of episodes just because of how strong episode 82 is. For MVP, I'm gonna give it to Shikamaru's father, man. He did exactly what was needed for Shikamaru in that moment to extract that, or, you know, extract the emotion out of his son and help him process his grief. You know, I think if he wasn't there for his son in that way, Shikamaru probably would have internalized it for a lot longer and maybe would have let the grief overwhelm him to the point where he wouldn't have taken any action, would have continued to hesitate in life. You can tell that he's taking this with so much more intention in life. Even when like Tsunade's kind of like trying to stop them from going out, he's like I don't want to be, you know, like live a shitty life where like I'm hesitating, so I'm not, you know, going after what I believe in, kind of thing. So I thought that was really, really good. Shikamaru's father is clutch. Best moment, you gotta give to Shikamaru in the shogi scene. I love that scene so much. I feel like I could play on replay. Just the raw emotion there is so freaking good. For the funniest moment, this one I'll give to Asuma, which is funny because it's really sad seeing him go, but they do kind of throw in some comedic relief in there when, you know, Asuma says to Choji that, you know, he adds it, you may need to diet a little more. And Choji's like, that might not be feasible, man. And they're all crying, and as he's about to go, man. And then for the Sacco, I'll give it to Don. Even though I love him, I also hate him, especially after Asuma has been killed. I've hated how smugged he looked after he delivered this final blow. I hated, you know, how snarky he is in this moment. Like, he's so proud of killing him. Or like, you know, even when they're about to leave to go to extract the two-tailed beast, he's about to die. Don't go anywhere, you losers, right? Like, just kind of like rubbing their faces in it. So honestly, I hope he gets what's coming from. Although I don't know how he could die, so we'll see. But yeah, y'all, I think that'll do it for these episodes. Incredible. Episode 82 will go down in history for me, no doubt. Let me know what y'all thought about this. If y'all would have had different character ratings, what y'all thought about this scene. Let me know if I missed anything, because I know there's probably so many little details in these episodes that, that it would make it hit home even harder. But yeah, I appreciate y'all being here to watch with me. I feel like I got a treat with this one, and I hope y'all enjoyed the reaction, and I will catch you next time. Peace.